Alright, a little update. I guess this is what we're going to call part 2 of the painless wiring harness install. So previously I showed you the old harness and the new harness and the difference in the weight and everything. And so now what we have here is I've got the wiring harness routed in its location. And so the fuse box, it is mounted, and let me get my little flashlight here out. So what I did is I took a little piece of about 3x3 aluminum plate. This is something not necessary. This is something different that I decided to do. So I mounted it on an aluminum plate. I used the factory mounting holes, which, you know, I did it a little differently than the instructions say, but I have that gave me an extra mounting stud right there on the bottom of that little plate. And another reason is because I got a lot of insulation on my firewall, which is not necessary, but this engine makes a lot of heat, and so I tried really hard to insulate the cab of the truck, and so that is the reason I've done that. It isn't necessary, but it's so much neater, more compact. So I have all the wires draped in their location. There's a lot of unnecessary wires for factory trucks, which my truck is not factory. All of this harness right here, all of the orange harness is for an accessory. This is an extra circuit for whatever extra you might want to use it for. I do not remember what these green wires were. I knew it and I should have. Shoot. Leave it up to me. Okay. These are your dome light and your cargo light wires here. So I've got to run them up inside of here, which is really easy. There's plenty of room. To my dome light and to my cargo light. I've already got the tail light wires ran underneath the truck, and they're laying out here. So those are all my tail light wires. And then over here, being that I have a late model engine, there are a lot of extra wires here that I am not going to use. I mean, that's a lot of wires. That's for the voltage regulator. One is for the alternator output, and one is for the battery. So I'll eliminate some of these wires. That's going to be a fair amount of weight for the racers out there. I know there's very few truck racers out there, but this is going to be a couple pounds eliminated right here, which, you know, nobody cares about that except me. The wire harness is very well laid out. I'm very pleased with it. My harness does not come out in the factory location. My harness comes out underneath the fenders here. And I don't know if you can see it there. So I have a plate that goes over that with a hole in it. And so my wiring harness for my headlights go up along my trimmed out inner fender. This is the inner fender that I have cut to make clearance for these monster 335 tires. And I still have plenty of wire. I still have enough wire to run to my headlights and my horn and all that good stuff. So in other words, instead of the harness coming out here like it would from the factory, my harness is coming inside of here, and then right there behind, behind the headlight, and there's still plenty of wire. That was the reason I chose painless, because if you want to cover, if you want to hide your wiring harness, some of the other harnesses out there give you just enough wire, the factory lengths, And that was the whole issue that I had with the factory harness, is because the harness was too short. So I tried to relocate it, and where it gave me enough wire to reach to everything I needed. Some wires were stretched tight enough to pick a tune, and then I had a lot of wires showing underneath my dash. So with the painless wiring harness, I'm going to be able to tuck all the wires up nice and neatly underneath the dash there, and I'll still be able to reach everything I need to reach. And so one of the finished areas is kind of right there, and you can see I've already got that in some convoluted tubing. My wife's on her way home now with some painless power braid wire covering for the other areas, but I was kind of antsy, and I wanted to go ahead and kind of finish that area right there. So anyway, yeah, it'll all be nice and neat, and I'll probably do a couple more videos as I go along finishing this up. I got a little over a week to finish this. Finish my hood that I've modified with the heat extractors, and also my gas tank. My fuel pump inside the tank is swinging around like a pendulum, so I've got to take my tank apart and brace all that up. So I get a little over a week to finish this up for the Optimal Batteries Ultimate Street Car. And I'll be posting videos all along as we go into this next few days, finishing this truck up. But so a little quick thing, the manual is nice and laid out very well. The instructions are plainly written. Anybody can understand it, and literally if you follow it step by step, even with no experience, you can wire this up without any issues whatsoever. Painless Performance Products, painless wiring harness. It's some good stuff. So if you're looking for a harness, check it out. See you guys.